Hello, I'm Eli at Gemalto, talking about Sentinel EMS Enterprise, focusing on advanced installation. What is advanced installation? First of all, let's recall that we have two installation types, and as you can see here, during the installation, this window appears where you can select whether you want an express installation or an advanced installation. Express means that the installation will take the defaults one and you are not able to make changes. Advanced means that you are able to set many things according to your needs. However, in the advanced, you should bear in mind that prior to selecting advanced installation, there needs to be a SQL Server or Oracle database existing ones, because during the advance you should provide details about where to find the SQL Server or the Oracle database. So what are the things that are possible to be done during advanced installation? During the advanced installation, here's the list of several things that are possible. One of them is to define web server as Tomcat or WebLogic. What does it mean? The EMS Enterprise is a web application that works on the top of of a web application, a web server. And the web server that we use is either Tomcat or WebLogic, and you are able to define which one of them you would like to be working with. We will see more details about it later on. Second thing that you are able is to either use an existence EMS database or create a new one. How can you have an existing EMS database? If you had already been working with Sentinel EMS in the past, maybe you have created something, you want to keep the database and you just want to have an installation which use the current or the old database. But if you don't want, you can create a new one. You can even decide to have a database on another machine if you want. We will see more details about it later. Second thing, talk about Active Directory in order to allow you to define the users and the authentication of each user. What are the users? Which are the users? And with each user, what is the access rights for him to do in the Sentinel EMS? Why? Because Sentinel EMS is a server and users can access things inside the Sentinel EMS and can do some of the tasks of the Sentinel EMS or all the tasks, and you can decide which user can do what. And this Active Directory can be optional way for you as a software vendor to define the users and the access right for each one of the users. Obviously, this is an option. You can define manually the users and the roles that each one has, or the access right that each one of them has. Next thing is to change, because we said the Express installation, the default installs it on port 8080 with no SSL. But you can choose that you would like to add an SSL in order to allow HTTPS, which is more secure way for communication. Or maybe you want to change the port number, not 8080, or maybe not 8443 for SSL. Maybe you want 9000 or something else. So you can make these changes over here. Then you can have install customer portal and enable possible, but this will be talking later. Now I'm just focusing on these four steps, four options that you have here highlighted. Bear in mind also that some of the things that are written here can also be done by clicking on the installer, the Sentinel EMS installer, and providing modification. I have created a video about it, so you can see a video of modification where you can see. But let's go on talking about Sentinel EMS Advanced installation and focusing on these four. First one is, as we said, we use in Sentinel EMS Enterprise, we use a web server. And the web server can be one of the two, either Tomcat or WebLogic. If you choose Tomcat, then Apache Tomcat will be installed, and the default 8000 port will be the port. If you choose WebLogic, then it will be installed, and the default port is 7001. Both can be accessed afterwards since they are web servers, and the EMS is a web application. This means that you will go using internet browser, and in the internet browser you will click this URL or this URL, depending if it's Tomcat or WebLogic, in order to call and to start working with the EMS, Sentinel EMS Enterprise. Next thing is to talk about the database. Let me show you here the components that are being installed as part of the Sentinel EMS Enterprise. First of all, we can see here is the web server. The web server can be either Tomcat or WebLogic. Then on the top of the web server, we have the EMSS web application. So this goes on one machine. Always the web application, the EMS, should be on the very same machine where the Tomcat or the WebLogic server exists. So they are together always. Now you can decide that on another machine will be the Oracle or the SQL server, and on the top of them will be the EMS database, either existing one that you had already been working with or a new one that will be created for you. So at the end of the road there might be two machines. Machine A has the Tomcat, WebLogic and the EMS, and machine B will have the SQL Server, Oracle and the EMS database instance. Or they can be on one machine or whatever you want. There are several other options that you can set them as an ISV. This is a view, a common view, let's say, about how the two machines are being used. Here we see Sentinel EMS database with a SQL Server and the storage over here. So one machine has the SQL Server with the EMS database, and on another machine we have the web server installed and the EMS. So what happened here, and we have the firewall here, and this is internally for the organization, and this goes externally for other end users that can be using the Sentinel EMS from outside. Why? Inside the organization, it's quite obvious why ISV comes for the software vendor. So it's obvious that inside the organization one will be using the EMS. However, there are end users that might be using the Sentinel EMS as well in order to make, we will see it maybe in next videos, but they might be using the Sentinel EMS Enterprise in order to activate their license, to see details of the license, and to make revocation for their license. So end user can also access the Sentinel EMS. Of course, there is a firewall. They have a specific place where they need to be and can access in the Sentinel EMS. Not all the available portals and functionalities available for end users, of course. This is part of the Sentinel EMS Enterprise design, but also the firewall make the work that end user will not be able to enter any place in the Sentinel EMS Enterprise. But to sum up, we see here two servers, two machines, and end user that they can access via firewall. Next thing is about Active Directory. As said before, the Active Directory can be used in order to put users and details for the users like names and passwords that will be used also in the Sentinel EMS Enterprise in order to log in for each one of these users. Of course, this is internally for the organization. We use the LDAP protocol in order to communicate between the Sentinel EMS and Active Directory. Last thing is about being able to change the port number and to change SSL in order to allow more security in the Sentinel EMS if you want to install it, and to be able to access it only using HTTPS and SSL. Therefore, you are able to set these settings inside the advanced, during the advanced installation. Thank you for watching.